The superego is quite separate from the ego. We have, first of all, the identity, which is the ego, and that's pretty much your sense of self. It's how you see how you are, it's your integrity. Whereas the superego is something completely separate. It might seem like, by the name alone, just a more extreme version of the ego, and to be fair, some aspects of it kind of are, but it's a different thing overall. The superego is the moral ideal of the ego, which means it's pretty much your absolute compliance with accepted standards in society. You're going to want to look good in front of other people with the superego. You're going to want to not fall below the expectations that have been set for you. If you've been punished by not acting in a certain way before, then the superego is going to make you act in the way that doesn't get you punished, or the way that you think won't get you punished, the way that you think is right, the way that has kind of been shown to you, but it's purely on a basis of emotion and not logic that it shows you this moral ideal. The moral ideal, it comes from a bunch of different inputs into your brain, and your brain registers them all as equally valuable regardless of where they've came from. So if you see some stupid TV show that shows you some guy sacrificing all of his time just to meet up with a few nasty gang members who are his friends, that could tap into your superego, and a people-pleasing attribute could come into you then, and that will be your superego at work. The superego causes extreme personality action. It means that you act superbly in a particular way. So you might act super evil at times, super funny at times. You might convince people that you're the best human being in existence in this particular attribute. You might be the most empathetic person ever. You might be able to convince people that. That's when your superego is at play. But it's not a situation where the superego is in good harmony with the other aspect of your brain, the ego. It's when the superego has taken over. It takes over when the ego crumbles. The superego then trumps the ego, and your ego, your sense of security, is not there anymore. So you only have this superego to rely on, and you only have the really happy, nice actions that you portray out to the world. You don't have the actual internal capacity of caring, because you yourself are not psychologically strong enough to care even for yourself, never mind for others. So your superego tries to bypass this. It tries to build a straw bridge when only stone bridges could possibly be permitted on this overpass. It tries to build a straw bridge between not being able to even care for yourself to being able to care for everybody. It does this in an unnatural way, and you have to recognize this, Slice. You have to recognize this as a kind of learned response, and it's just instinctive, because you're not supposed to be able to go suddenly from not being able to even care for yourself to being able to care for everyone. That's not how it goes at all. There has to be a slow progression to it, and if there isn't, if you suddenly feel like you can do everything, if everyone else suddenly feels like you can do everything for everyone, and there's no setbacks, well, I'm afraid there is, because your superego is acting out of balance. There is no ego to counteract it. There is no sense of security. There is no identity. There's nothing there. You're just a hollow individual portraying an image to the world. And that's, in my opinion, worse than just being a hollow individual, because when you're a hollow individual, at least you know you are. You're not trying to convince yourself and the people around you, your friends and family, that you're this super ideal archetype of a person to be looked up to and to be revered. That's just deception, and that's not a sustainable way of living. It's not a sustainable way of running a community, and everything is going to crumble then. Well, maybe not on the outside, but not on the surface, but on the inside, people are just going to break down. It's going to kill the people around you. It's a sense of insincerity that's not doesn't breed a strong nation. It's what a nation dies on. it gives a sense of fakeness to the people around you. When your superego takes over, your ego isn't in play. There's no security, no actual strength. There's no. It's like a big ocean, but only the surface has water on it. Whereas right below the surface, which is floating on air, it's just air. Like there's just air in the ocean except for the surface. That's what a superego dominated brain is like. It's like an ocean with no water in it. And some symptoms of the superego is when you go around the place feeling worse than everyone else most of the time. You might not admit it to yourself, and you might not even realize it yet, but you feel worse than other people. You don't have a sense of wonder and security that most people do have. And I've noticed this on myself because I've had a dream relatively recently, about a month or 2 months ago, and in this dream I had the ego, and it's the most divine feeling I've ever felt. That's how most people go around the place on a regular basis. They're just able to have this sense of security. They have the strength within them already. So there's no sense of security when you don't have this ego. And as I said before, this comes directly as a result of a problematic ego. And if the ego is crushed by the superego, then all these issues are going to happen, and it's not going to be easy to fix them. Really, the ideal situation is when both the ego and the superego are working in tandem in perfect harmony. They both need to be counterbalanced by each other. The ego needs to be your sense of security. The superego needs to be your sense of moral consistency, your ability to maybe then portray after the ego, maybe then portray a good personality, ethics to the world. Then you can get the skills, then you can get the ability to actually look after other people. It's only when you've fully convinced yourself that you can look after yourself, not anyone else.